Welcome, dear traders. You are watching a recap of the Asian session. Asian stock markets kicked off Monday with a rise. It appears that the optimism that boosted the United States, European, and Asian markets last Friday has not waned yet. Shares of tech and financial services companies scored the biggest gains. Risk appetite was bolstered by fresh comments from the Fed policymakers and economic reports. Besides, new speeches as well as the data are on tap this week. Over the weekend, there have been rumors that the Fed will not raise interest rates above the previously set level. According to the FEDWATCH tool, 75% of traders are betting on the 25 basis point rate increase at the next meeting. Last week, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic backed a smaller rate hike. He also admitted the likelihood of a policy reversal this summer. This week, traders are anticipating Jerome Powell's speeches on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they are sure to look for hints about the future plans for monetary policy. Meanwhile, U.S. Treasuries are falling despite upbeat macro starts. For example, the ISM Services PMI index advanced markedly. It jumped to 55.1 points in February, beating forecast. Nevertheless, the yield on a 2-year and a 10-year government notes sank on Friday. At the start of the week, volatility is likely to be rather high. The US dollar lost ground amid expectations of a softer stance, although analysts have different opinions about the timing of a policy reversal. They are sure that the Fed will soon stop tightening policy. Some of them believe it may take place in a few months. It's hardly surprising that the greenback stumbled. On a Monday morning, it fell from a monthly low of 104.65 to 104.40 versus its main rivals. Besides, investors rushed to close long positions due to falling 10-year US government bonds, so the US dollar may change its trajectory significantly against many currencies this week. In the Asian session, it was trading in a narrow range of 104.30 and 104.60, gradually declining. The yen took advantage of the US dollar's weakness, and the dollar-yen pair dipped to 135.60 and below the Friday opening level of 136.70. While the greenback is trapped in the sideways channel, the yen was entered the range of 135.40 and 136.00. The economic calendar for Japan is empty today, so the trajectory of the yen will mainly depend on the movements of the greenback after the release of economic reports. This situation will persist throughout the week. However, the Bank of Japan will hold a meeting on Friday. Traders do not expect any drastic changes in the monetary policy settings. The regulator may even postpone its key rate decision amid the change of leadership in the bank. Incoming Bank of Japan Governor Kazuo Ueda has already announced that he will adhere to the dovish stance. The Reserve Bank of Australia will unveil its key rate decision tomorrow. Given the drop in inflation from the peak levels and the positive economic reports, the watchdog is expected to slow down or take a pause in the tightening cycle. However, despite a decline in the consumer prices, they are still above the 7% target. For this reason, the central bank is likely to undertake at least 2 more rate hikes. Analysts believe that the tightening cycle is nearing its end. If the Reserve Bank of Australia makes hints about it, the pressure on the Aussie will escalate. The further trajectory of the Aussie will depend on whether the Reserve Bank will decide to keep raising rates or not. If the central bank announces more rate increases, it will be a bullish signal. Prior to the meeting, the Aussie is hovering in the sideways range of 0.6736 and 0.6771. It failed to break through the pivot level of 0.6700. Its upward potential is also limited by a stronger US dollar. If the Reserve Bank of Australia makes hawkish statements, the AUD-USD pair may rise to 0.6800. However, the main trend remains bearish. The Aussie kept dropping, touching the level of 0.6753, while the Australian dollar has a chance to advance following the Reserve Bank of Australia meeting. The Kiwi is lacking any drivers. It began a new week with a significant decline in the intraday range of 0.6187 and 0.6227. The New Zealand stock market is now flirting with new weekly highs. However, the New Zealand dollar is less lucky, as it's unable to climb versus the US dollar. In the Asian session, it tested a low of 0.6737. After that, it managed to recover to 0.6198. Those were the main events on the forex in the Asian trade. This week will be quite eventful. Traders are awaiting rate decisions of the Reserve Bank of Australia, Bank of Japan, and the Bank of Canada. Apart from that, Jerome Powell will deliver a speech. However, the highlight of the week will be the non-farm payrolls report. That's all for now. Leave your comment down below and see you soon.